Hey, what's going on, guys? I am Tyler from Audioholics Anonymous, and today I am doing once more a vinyl collection update. I have quite a few records for you today, so I'm going to try and get through them kind of quickly. Let's start it off with Death Walks Behind You by Atomic Rooster. Now, this is a progressive album. This is like a splatter vinyl that I have. It's kind of really cool. It's a Starburst splatter, I think they called it. It's got some amazing songs on it. The title track, Tomorrow's Night, Nobody Else, Sleeping for Years. This album is absolutely phenomenal. A great progressive classic album from the 70s that a lot of people don't know about. Next we have Conquistador by Maynard Ferguson. And he is a jazz trumpeter, or trumpeter, and it's a kind of cool cover art. The cool thing about this album is it has Gonna Fly Now, which is, you know, the Rocky theme. It's kind of cool. I got it for $2 at a newly opened music/bookstore. Really cool album. Next I have Open Your Eyes by Earth, Wind & Fire. I'm not entirely huge on this type of music, but this is the album that I decided to try and get into. I've never really heard it before, but again, I got it for $2, like the Conquistador album, and I want to give it a good shot. And, you know, if I like it, it's pretty easy to get a hold of Earth, Wind & Fire albums, and they're, you know, they have some pretty cool cover art, so I feel like it's worth owning even if I'm not the biggest fan of it. Next, Blackfoot, Strikes. Now this album is sort of like a southern rock. It's like a bluesy southern rock album. And it came out in the 70s. And it's actually really good. If you really want like an idea of the sound, look up Train Train or even Road Fever, and you'll get a good idea of like the southern rock sound that this album is really good at. And one thing that I noticed is that the album cover is very similar to Alice Cooper's Killer. So, yeah, just an observation. Don't know if it means anything. Next we have Borboleta by Santana. And I've never listened to this album either, but I'm a really big fan of Santana. So I don't recognize any of the songs off of it. Mirage, Give and Take. Yeah, I don't recognize any of this, but it's Santana. And especially it's like one of their jazz fusion albums. So, you know, it can't be bad. Next we have Alice Cooper's Greatest Hits, and the only other Alice Cooper album I have is Killers, or Killer, or Killers, whatever. This one has I'm 18, Is It My Body, Desperado, Under My Wheels, Be My Lover, School's Out, Hello Hooray, Elected, No More Mr. Nice Guy, Billion Dollar Babies, Teenage Lament 74, and Muscle of Love. So some pretty good songs on this one. I was actually lent this one by Logan. So yeah. Alright, the next three albums are albums that Logan got from the VNYL subscription, and he wasn't really into them. So I gave them all a brief one listen through. So I'll tell you what I think of them. The first one, Blast Blood, is a really interesting sort of like hardcore thrash music. Yeah, this one's just like, it's really cool. I think this might be the one that was produced by Dave Grohl. One of these albums was produced by Dave Grohl, and I think it might have been this one. And it's good music. I enjoyed it. I don't regret owning it. And this isn't one of them with like the special vinyl, but it does have like this cool lyric sheet in here and the album's cover. Yeah, it's kind of cool too. Also, it's a gatefold, so the inside looks like this. Kind of cool. Probably my least favorite of the three I got. Next is my favorite of the three, So Stressed, Please Let Me Know. This is a fantastic album. It's a clear vinyl that I have, which is really cool. It's the only clear vinyl I own as of yet, and the sleeve here is pretty cool too. It has, I think those are the lyrics on it. I'm not really sure. Nope, it's like some sort of recipe. I don't even know. But it's kind of cool that it exists. This is a pretty cool album. It's like an alternative indie rock band. They use some harsh vocals, which I think is what turned Logan off, but here's kind of like a middling one for me. The Birth Defects, Everything Is Fine. This is an alright album. It's got a similar sound to the previous one. It's like an indie alt-rock band. They use... Although, I would say there's a lot more punk influenced with this one than the last one we talked about. And this one's a dark blue vinyl, kind of like a turquoise blue-green color. And the sleeve is also pretty cool. But, yeah. Overall, I'm glad I own all 3 albums. I think I'll ever only really listen to this one a lot, but yeah. Next, we have one of my all-time favorite albums, Scream Bloody Gore by Death. Now, this isn't the only Death album I want to own, but it's the first one that I now have in my collection. And it's a pretty cool vinyl. It is another burst vinyl. It's really cool. It's a blood splatter vinyl, I think they said. And there's also this like cool little sleeve in here that shows pictures of like the band and lyrics and things like that. Really, really cool stuff. I'm glad I own this vinyl. You would think, like it being death metal, it wouldn't sound all that great on vinyl, but you would be completely wrong. It sounds great. So yeah, awesome album. Next, I just picked up my first Priest album, my first Priest studio album, I should say, because I have Unleashed in the East, which is one of their live albums. So, Screaming for Vengeance, which is probably my personal favorite Priest album. This one's the one with Electric Eye, Bloodstone, Pain and Pleasure, You've Got Another Thing Coming, Devil's Child. I mean, it has so many good songs on it. Yeah, I mean, what can I say about an album like this? It's completely classic metal for a reason. After that, we have Holy Diver, you've been bound too long in the midnight sea. Oh, what's becoming of me? Yeah, I love this album. This is one of my favorite albums of all time. Dio is probably my favorite vocalist in metal, and this album, he shines on this album. This, a lot of people would claim, is their magnum opus. And you can't really argue. It's probably the best album that the Dio band ever made. Although you could argue a few other albums. I think this is probably the best one. Stand Up and Shout, Holy Diver, Gypsy, Caught in the Middle. I love that song. Caught in the Middle, just like the way I always am. Don't Talk to Strangers, Straight Through the Heart, Invisible, just a rainbow in the dark. I mean, it's just a fucking great album, guys, and I'm glad I finally have it. Although it was a little bit pricey. I didn't realize this album went for so much. Like, if you go on eBay and look, $30, $35 is pretty normal for it. Kind of crazy. Alrighty, so next we have the albums that I am most excited that I own now. Starting with Black Sabbathu, We Sold Our Soul for Rock and Roll. This is a greatest hits album. It has, from the first record, Black Sabbath, The Wizard, Warning, and then from the second record, Paranoid, War Pigs, Iron Man, and then from Volume 4, Tomorrow's Dream, Fairies Wear Boots is from Paranoid, and then Changes from Volume 4 again. And then we have some from Master of Reality, Sweet Leaf, Children of the Grave, and then we have some from Sabbath Bloody Sabbath, which is just the title track. I think that's the only one. And then Am I Going Insane from Sabotage, Laguna Sunrise. I think that one is from Volume 4. Snowblind from Volume 4 also, and finally NIB from the Black Sabbath debut. So, all in all, a really good greatest hits album. It's actually a gatefold too, so there's this like really cool woman or something. I don't know how well you can see this, but yeah, it's kind of cool. I'm glad I have it. Speaking of Black Sabbath, I just picked up their debut album. Classic album. One of the best debut albums of all time. One of the best cover arts of all time. This is the back of it. You know, we got all-time classics in here, like Black Sabbath, The Wizard, Behind the Wall of Sleep, N.I.B., the bass solo, which is my favorite bass solo of all time, basically. It's a funny pun, too. Wicked World, Sleeping Village, Warning, Bitterfinger. Like, this album is absolutely fantastic. And they follow that up with the next album that I got, Paranoid by Black Sabbath. And this is a gatefold too, but my version of this is kind of a bit messed up. I got it for pretty cheap. You know, War Pigs, Paranoid, Planet Caravan, Iron Man, Electric Funeral, Hand of Doom, Rat Salad, Fairies Wear Boots. You know, a lot of this album I've heard 100 times, but you can't argue the pure quality of it. It's just a fantastic record. And next we have one of my favorite Black Sabbath albums, Master of Reality, motherfucker. Yeah, that's right, I got another Sabbath album. On this one, you got Sweetleaf, After Forever, Embryo, Children of the Grave, Orchid, Lord of this World, Solitude, and Into the Void. A dark, desolate album. This is top shelf Black Sabbath, guys. Speaking of top shelf Black Sabbath, Sabotage. And this is the last album I picked up. I'm really excited to finally own this one. Gotta say, though, what the hell is with this album cover? Like, what the fuck is Ozzy wearing? Is this like some sort of fucking dress? Is that Bill Ward in red? What is that? What is Iommi wearing? This is like my grandma's pants. What the fuck is going on in this picture? They must have been even higher on fucking coke than they were in the last album. Either way, album cover being misguided or no, fan-fucking-tastic album. Hole in the Sky, Don't Start Too Late, Symptom of the Universe, motherfuckers. Megalomania, maybe my favorite Sabbath tune of them all. The Thrill of It All, Super Tsar, which is probably my favorite instrumental by Sabbath. Am I Going Insane, never really been a huge fan of, but I know it has its fans. And finally, one of their most underrated songs, The Writ. So yeah, I got a really nice haul within the past few weeks. Got some really amazing albums. So let me go through them once more. Sabotage by Black Sabbath. Master of Reality, Black Sabbath. Paranoid, Black Sabbath. Black Sabbath, Black Sabbath. We Sold Our Souls for Rock and Roll, Black Sabbath. Holy Diver by Dio. Screaming for Vengeance by Judas Priest. Scream Bloody Gore by Death. Everything Is Fine by The Birth Defects. I think the album is called Please Let Me Know by So Stressed. It might be So Stressed by Please Let Me Know. I couldn't tell you, this is a very obscure album, but I think it's So Stressed, Please Let Me Know. So there you go. Last Blood. Alice Cooper Greatest Hits. Borboleta, Santana. Strikes, Blackfoot. Open Our Eyes by Earth, Wind and Fire. Conquistador by Maynard Ferguson. And finally, but definitely not least, Death Walks Behind You by Atomic Rooster. There you have it, guys. This has been my vinyl collection update. I hope to see you again next time. I have been Tyler, and this has been Audioholics Anonymous. Have a great day.